It's not.
This is
Be lifted higher. Jesus, you'll be lifted higher. Higher. Be lifted.
Okay, so the internet just did what it does best, completely lose its mind over something nobody saw coming, and somehow turn it into a full-blown emotional war zone. Because tell me why a simple moment, yes, a baby vibing to gospel music turned into a chaotic battlefield of opinions, shade, conspiracy theories, and people acting like they just uncovered a hidden prophecy. Chrisean Rock, the queen of unpredictability, the human definition of expect the unexpected, casually drops a clip of her son just sitting there, vibing peacefully to gospel music. No screaming, no chaos, no Zeus network energy, just calm, wholesome vibes. And suddenly the internet freezes like it just saw a glitch in the matrix. Because wait, this is the same storyline we've been watching. The same reality show energy, the same non-stop drama, the same who's fighting who today chaos. And now we got choir music in the background like we accidentally switched channels to Sunday morning service. Oh, but don't get it twisted. The internet didn't react with peace and love. No. People started arguing like it was a courtroom case. Some fans were crying, calling it growth, healing, even divine intervention. Others, oh, they were side-eyeing hard, accusing, questioning, analyzing like FBI agents on a caffeine binge. And then came the comparisons. People bringing up past drama, relationships, decisions, scandals, pulling receipts like it's a Black Friday sale. Suddenly, this wasn't about a baby enjoying music anymore. This turned into a full character investigation. But here's where it gets wild. Because just when everyone thought this was a simple, wholesome moment, a new detail dropped that flipped the entire narrative upside down, and trust me, nobody was ready for that. It was giving conspiracy board with red strings connecting dots that probably had nothing to do with each other, but that didn't stop anybody from acting like they cracked the code. Because once the internet decides something is deeper than it looks, there's no going back. Logic leaves the chat, and vibes take over completely. And let's talk about timing, because oh, the timing had people raising eyebrows like they were trying to signal airplanes. This clip didn't just appear in a vacuum. It landed right in the middle of ongoing chatter about Chrisean's personal life, her choices, her relationships, and the constant questions about what direction she's really heading in. So naturally, people started asking, was this intentional? Was this a soft launch into a new chapter? A subtle rebrand? Or just a random moment that got blown way out of proportion like everything else on the internet? Nobody could agree, and honestly, that disagreement is what kept the chaos alive. Because every time someone said, "This is beautiful," somebody else jumped in with, "Be serious," and every time a fan tried to defend her, a critic came through with a list of past moments longer than a grocery receipt during a holiday sale. And that's where things started getting personal. People weren't just reacting to the video anymore, they were reacting to her history, her decisions, her public image. It turned into one of those situations where the actual moment gets buried under layers of opinion, judgment, and assumptions. Meanwhile, the supporters were holding their ground. They weren't about to let a peaceful moment get turned into something negative without a fight. You had people writing full paragraphs in the comments, defending her growth, talking about motherhood, change, and how people need to stop expecting perfection from someone who's still figuring things out. And honestly, some of those arguments hit. But then came the counter-arguments, and those hit just as hard. Critics started pointing out inconsistencies, bringing up moments where Chrisean's actions didn't exactly scream peaceful transformation. And they weren't saying it quietly either. Oh no, they were loud, detailed, and unapologetic about it. It became a back-and-forth battle that had nothing to do with gospel music anymore. It was about credibility. It was about authenticity. It was about whether people believed this moment represented something real or just something temporary. And right in the Middle of all this noise, the clip kept circulating. New audiences were discovering it without any context, forming their own opinions in seconds, and jumping straight into the chaos like it was a trending challenge. Because that's how fast things move now, there's no time to process. Just react and move on. Except nobody moved on. Because just when it felt like the conversation might start dying down, something else happened, a reaction unexpected, messy, and just controversial enough hit the timeline and poured gasoline all over the situation. And suddenly, what started as a quiet, wholesome moment turned into a full-blown internet spectacle. And just when you thought the situation couldn't get any louder, oh, the internet said, "Hold my Wi-Fi," and turned the volume all the way up. Because here's the thing, viral moments don't just live on their own anymore. They evolve, they mutate, they turn into memes, debates, reaction chains, and full-blown cultural moments that spiral way beyond the original clip. And that's exactly what happened here. That gospel music video. Yeah, it stopped being just a video. It became content. Suddenly, TikTok was flooded. People recreating the moment, adding dramatic captions like it was the final scene of a movie. Some users slowed it down, zoomed in, added emotional music on top of the gospel music. Yes, the double soundtrack chaos, and turned it into something that felt like a spiritual awakening montage. Meanwhile, Twitter, X, whatever we're calling it today, turned into a battlefield. You had one side saying, "This is growth, let her live," and the other side responding like, "Growth where? Be serious." And the replies, oh, they were brutal. No filter, no mercy, just straight digital warfare with memes flying like dodgeballs in gym class. And the memes. Listen, the memes were wild. People were comparing this moment to everything. Some said it felt like a sudden plot twist in a reality show where the villain randomly finds peace in the finale. Others compared it to a WWE storyline, where a chaotic character suddenly switches sides mid-match, and the audience doesn't know whether to cheer or boo. And then came the cinematic universe comparisons. Folks started treating Chrisean's life like it's part of some extended franchise. They were like, "Oh, this is phase 4 of the storyline. We're entering the redemption arc era." Others were like, "Nope. This is just a filler episode before the next meltdown." The commentary was hilarious, dramatic, and completely unhinged in the most entertaining way possible. But then, celebrities started reacting. And that's when things got even messier. Because when public figures jump into a situation like this, they don't just add opinions, they amplify everything. A simple comment can shift the entire narrative. And that's exactly what started happening. Some reactions were sudden liking posts, dropping cryptic emojis, reposting clips without saying a word. And you already know the internet reads into that like it's a secret message coded in Morse. Others were more direct, posting their thoughts, sharing their takes, and in some cases, throwing a little shade without naming names. The kind of shade that's not obvious, but everybody knows exactly who it's about. And then came the contradictions, because while some people were praising the moment publicly, old clips started resurfacing statements, interviews, live streams that didn't exactly match the current narrative. And you know the internet loves a good contradiction. It's like fuel for the fire. People started stitching together timelines, comparing past behavior with present moments, asking questions that didn't have clear answers. And instead of calming things down, it made everything 10 times more chaotic. Because now, it wasn't just about whether the moment was genuine. It was about consistency and consistency. That's where the debate got real messy. Some fans argued that growth isn't linear, that people can evolve, change, have different moments, and still be valid. They were pushing back hard against the idea that someone's past should completely define their present. But critics weren't letting up. They were like, okay, but where's the proof? Where's the pattern? One clip doesn't erase everything else. And honestly, that argument had just enough logic to keep the debate going in circles. Meanwhile, reaction channels were having a field day. You had creators pausing every second of the clip, analyzing it like it's a documentary, breaking down body language, tone, environment things that most people wouldn't even notice. And the thumbnails? Oh, they were screaming. Big text, shocked faces, arrows pointing at absolutely nothing. This changes everything. Is this real or fake? You won't believe this detail. And guess what? People click dot because controversy sells. Now let's talk about the fanbase split, because this is where things started looking like a full-on reality show reunion episode. You had team supporters and team skeptics going head-to-head like it was a scripted showdown. Team supporters were emotional, passionate, defending every angle of the situation. They were emphasizing motherhood, personal growth, spiritual connection, all the deeper meanings behind the moment. Team skeptics, oh, they came with receipts, timestamps, and side-eyes strong enough to knock over furniture. They weren't buying the narrative, and they made that very clear. And then there were the neutrals, the people just watching the chaos like it's entertainment. Not picking sides, just enjoying the drama unfold like it's the latest episode of a show they didn't even know they were subscribed to. But here's where it gets even crazier. Because just as the debate reached peak chaos, memes everywhere, reactions nonstop, opinions flying left and right, a new angle entered the conversation. And this one shifted everything. Someone pointed out a detail in the video that most people completely overlooked at first. A small thing, easy to miss. But once it was noticed, oh, it couldn't be unseen. And suddenly, the entire narrative started twisting again. People went back to rewatch the clip not casually, but with intention, looking for clues, signs, meaning. The same video that seemed simple at first now felt layered, almost like it was hiding something beneath the surface. And the theories, they started getting creative. Some said it proved authenticity. Others claimed it exposed something staged. A few even went completely off the rails with theories that made you question if we were all watching the same clip. But that's the power of the internet. It doesn't just react, it reinvents. And now, what started as a peaceful gospel moment had turned into a multi-layered controversy with no clear conclusion, just opinions, reactions, and a whole lot of noise. And right when you think it can't get any more unpredictable, the situation takes another turn, one that nobody saw coming. And just like that, the energy shifted again. Because after all the noise, all the debates, all the memes and think pieces flying across timelines like confetti at a chaotic parade, something unexpected happened. The internet started slowing down. Not completely, not peacefully, but just enough for people to actually sit with what they were watching. And that's when the emotional layer crept in. Because beneath all the sarcasm, the jokes, the side-eyes, and the viral chaos, there was still a real moment at the center of it all. A child, a sound, a vibe. And suddenly, some people started questioning whether the internet had gone too far, turning it into a spectacle. Now, don't get it twisted, the debates didn't stop. But the tone? It softened. Just a little. You had people stepping back like, okay, maybe we dragged this too much. Others doubled down, refusing to switch sides because at this point, their opinions were practically part of their identity. Nobody wanted to look like they got it wrong, especially not in front of an audience that screenshots everything. Meanwhile, Chrisean herself, oh, she stayed unpredictable. Instead of giving a clear explanation, instead of addressing the chaos head-on like people expected, she moved in a way that only added more mystery to the situation. A post here, a caption there. Nothing too direct, but just enough to keep everyone guessing. And let me tell you, that silence, it was loud. Because when the main person at the center of a viral storm doesn't clarify anything, the internet fills in the blanks. And trust me, they filled them with everything from hopeful interpretations to full-blown conspiracy theories. Some fans took her silence as confidence, like she didn't need to explain anything because the moment spoke for itself. Others saw it as avoidance, like she was dodging the conversation on purpose. And just like that, we were right back in the loop. But here's where things really started getting interesting. Because behind the scenes, or at least what the internet thinks is behind the scenes, people started talking about shifts. Subtle ones, but noticeable if you were paying attention. Interactions changing. Energy feeling different. Certain people not being seen together as much. Others suddenly popping up in new ways. And you already know what that means. Speculation season. People started connecting dots again. Building narratives about alliances shifting. Relationships evolving. And priorities changing. Some believe this moment marked the beginning of a new chapter, less chaos, more control, a different kind of energy. Others, they weren't convinced. They argued that the cycle always looks like it's about to change, right before it doesn't. That every calm moment in this storyline eventually leads back to the same level of unpredictability. And honestly, that tension between hope and skepticism is what kept everyone locked in, because nobody knew what to believe anymore. Now let's talk about reputation. Because this moment, whether people admit it or not, did something. It didn't completely rewrite the narrative. It didn't erase past drama or magically fix public perception overnight. But it added a layer, a new dimension that people couldn't ignore. For supporters, it became evidence, something they could point to and say, see, there's more to her than what y'all focus on. It gave them a moment to hold on to, something that felt genuine in a world that often feels staged. For critics, it became another question mark, another situation to analyze, to doubt, to place under the microscope of public opinion. Not necessarily negative, but not fully convincing either. And for everyone else, it became a moment, a viral snapshot in time that captured the internet's ability to turn anything, literally anything, into a full-blown narrative with layers, drama, and endless debate. But just when things started settling into that uneasy calm, the twist hit. And this wasn't some loud, explosive drama moment. No screaming, no viral argument. No shocking reveal that breaks the internet in half. It was subtle. Too subtle. The kind of detail that only a few people noticed at first. A shift in tone. A different kind of energy in a follow-up clip. Something small, but different enough to spark a new wave of curiosity. And once it was noticed, oh, it spread. Because suddenly people weren't just looking at the original video anymore, they were comparing, watching closely, noticing changes in behavior, in vibe, in presentation, and the question started forming again. Was that first moment just the beginning of something bigger? Or was it a standalone moment that the internet stretched into something it was never meant to be? And here's the part that really gets you. There's no clear answer, because every time it feels like the narrative is about to lock into place, boom, another angle appears. Another reaction, another interpretation, another twist that keeps the story moving. It's like trying to finish a puzzle where new pieces keep getting added. And maybe that's the point. Because in the world of viral moments, clarity is rare. Confusion, that's what keeps people watching. That's what keeps the conversation alive. That's what turns a simple clip into a saga. And right now, this story isn't over. Not even close. Because if there's one thing we've learned from all of this, now listen. If you made it this far, you already know this situation is messier than a group chat after midnight. And don't even try to act like you didn't pick a side at least once while watching all this unfold. So go ahead, drop your opinion in the comments. Was this a genuine moment, a turning point, or just another viral situation the internet turned into a full-blown movie with plot twists nobody asked for? I need to know where you stand, because at this point, everybody got a theory and half of them sound like they belong in a documentary. And don't be shy either, this is a judgment-free zone. Well, kind of. The comments might get a little spicy, but that's part of the fun. Just don't come in there acting brand new like you weren't watching the drama unfold in real time. Also smash that like button like it owes you money. I'm talking aggressive taps. Let it know you were here for the chaos, the breakdown, the analysis, and every single twist that had the internet spiraling. And if you're not subscribed yet, what are you even doing? Hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications so you don't miss the next episode because you already know this story is not finished. The way things are moving. Another twist could drop at any second. We don't just report drama over here, we break it down, flip it, remix it, and serve it back hotter than it started. So stay locked in, stay ready, and stay messy with us. Only on Celeb Insanity. Only on Celeb Insanity.